Hello again.
Hello. You have the whole world in your hands.
Well, those aren't my hats, but that reminds me, I was supposed to be sending you some happy pictures. Sorry, doing so now.
Well, you don't have to do that now.
I want to.
Just your presence is enough.
Okay. Well, I've also got some presents for you.
Where are you sending them?
Okay. Just on Facebook, I will barrage you with a bunch of them right now. Boom.
Am I supposed to look at them now?
You can if you wish. Up to you.
Sure, our viewing audience will be static about that.
Well, you can always cut pieces out,
Hmm.
Just cut like a 3-minute video of Elijah looking at pictures. Just that's the YouTube post for today. So you want to show me some websites, you said.
Yeah. Don't know why. Okay. Can you see?
I can. School of Conscious Communication Canada, Phase 1, the start.
Hmm. So this is looking at, this is pre-going public. This is the beginning of showing the potential teachers. I mean, what we have here are originators, administrators, teachers, facilitators, students, and clients, allies, and customers. And so if we look at where we are here with teachers, then there's a video from me from quite a while ago. Do you want to see it, or it's short?
Do you want to go?
Okay, let's see if this is bearable.
Oh, I don't hear anything. Sound might not come through, I
Can you
assume.
hear it?
No.
Okay. Anyway, that's me quite a while ago. So then a little message, and then we've got potential teachers,
Oh,
and then
I
there's no.
am on there.
I would have put you at the top, but these three have a bit of a, I don't know. I mean, and Jorge would have been in here. He was in here, but he's not anymore, at least for now. So these are all people that I know that are. Oh, he's still here. I didn't take him out.
Oh, yeah.
So I know quite a lot of people that, to me, are at that level of teacher.
Oh, I think he had a double there.
And I did. It's not finished. So
Yeah.
it's in the works. So in terms of the members, I think I've shared with you before, like originators or people who've come up with their own. I mean, you might be an originator, I'm not sure. Um, so originators are people that have sort of come up with their own knowledge fields. Um, Facilitators are more, the school is geared more towards teaching facilitators. Anyway, but the thing is, in Wix, I can't go down 3 levels. Like I can't under teachers then go you and give you a whole page. It's ridiculous.
Mm.
Like it's
In the menu, you mean, or just in general?
just in general. I mean, yeah, I mean, in the menu, you can't go down to another level.
Yeah.
Like what in Weebly I could. It's just ridiculous.
WordPress, I know you can as well. WordPress.org at least.
Hmm. So then the allies are in the harmony lenses, and then there's like potential allies, probationary allies, active allies, inactive, dying, and dead. Okay.
Dead allies. That's interesting.
Well, sometimes they actually die, right? Or you stop communicating for whatever. So every one of them is the same. And then in terms of the customers, there's 7 paths of knowledge. And so the path of suffering. And yeah, I put her there thinking, his work is probably with people that are all suffering, right? He's got some great stuff in there.
Hmm.
So finding people that are specific. Path Awakening, Gino, his whole online system. Path of Healing, Hanal and Yogi, Shambhu. Path of Transformation, I don't think I'd put anyone there. Path of Archetypes. Path of Surrender. So each with a description, Path of Service. So that's the main 7. And then, which space are you in? So the personal one-on-one, group, community, or sacred space. So the personal space, one-on-one space, group space, community space, sacred space. So that's you're on one of the paths, on one of the spaces. And then, then we have path of suffering, path of awakening, path of healing, transformation, archetype, surrender, service. So you look at suffering. So then there's a basic video about what the path of suffering is. And then here's the path of suffering with the 5 spaces. So in the sacred space, there's no meaning. Personal space, it's rock bottom. And this is basically where I've been hanging out there. One-on-one space is the doghouse. Community space is outcast. Group space is scapegoat. So then there's so you go through the path of suffering, and this would be the rest I haven't filled in. So module on meaninglessness. So you'd have a teacher and a module, and then rock bottom, the same thing. Doghouse, same thing. So basically, they'd go through a 7 module course if they're on the path of suffering of how to escape out of all of these. Then at the end, integrate it. So then they're all the same kind of thing. Well, not the same, but like path of awakening. So path of awakening is in the sacred space, some sort of God consciousness experience. Personal space is personal autonomy. One-on-one space is deep conflict. Start to get conflict with everybody. Community space, recognition of society insanity. And the group space, deep questioning. So each program, and those are a bit arbitrary, they as we go along come up with better programs. So path of healing, sacred space is soul awakening and self-acceptance. Personal space is trauma healing. One-on-one space is relationship forgiveness. Community space, identify your gifts. And group space is group safety assessment. So this is a basic curriculum, right? So path of transformation, sacred space, but God at the top. People may or may not agree. Personal space, a conscious value system. One-on-one space, a good teacher. Community space, be a planetary guardian. And group space, group accountability. And the path of archetypes. Sacred space, the wizard. Personal space, the king. One-on-one space, the lover. Community space is the warrior. Group space is the Nexialist. And this just for men. Would be another one for women. Then path of surrender. Sacred space, thy will be done. Personal space, loss of self. One-on-one space, mirroring. Community space of service. Group space of observation. And finally, the path of service. Sacred space, Christ consciousness. Personal space, meditation. One-on-one space, communion. Community space, authority. And group space, guidance. So I'll go over to you right now. Just to, what do you think about that? As a framework for curriculum.
I'd have to see it in a different format, but I think you've got it. It looks like a curriculum. It just, for me to fully wrap my head around it, I would have to see it in a different kind of format.
I have a grid that's very all together on one page.
Hmm. No, no, it's too much information to put all on one page. That's what I'm saying. It's like, well, anyway, I mean, you have a curriculum. Yes, I would agree.
Okay. And it doesn't mean that each teacher can't teach whatever they want. This is just a larger curriculum where the teachers start to create programs and work with other teachers. Because one person may be good at trauma counseling, someone else might be good at meditation or whatever. And again, this is just one curriculum that's mainly for healing. Looking at that as the main thing out there that people need. Maybe if I go back in again.
You said you wanted to show me two websites.
Yeah, I have let me just show you something else here. If I go to the blog, look at that. We're already there. So rather than just going to Facebook now, I'm starting to load into the blog and capturing all the videos in a better way. It doesn't get lost like in Facebook.
Good.
If you're looking at your paradigm toolkit, where you have maps, card sets, game boards, processes, and software. So each one has a explanation and then the beginning of the maps. Here we go.
Well,
So here's my personal site, the Nexialist. So again, this isn't finished, but why call the Nexialist? Why then? I've got these principal dualities. I was speaking to you about that before. Taking all
yep.
of the harmony cards and having a principal duality. This next one I think is important. Technology, AI controlled and human controlled. So just, I've never seen this done before, right? Where admiralty law versus common law, public versus private, against the people, for the people, written, oral, worldviews, doesn't accept other worldviews, accepts other worldviews. So I'm thinking that this is key. Infotech, theirs and ours. History, deception, and truth. Biosphere, 3D Mother Earth, 5D Gaia. Governance, corporation versus shared knowledge community. Politics, war versus peace. Health, big pharma versus holistic medicine. I think that these are the main distinctions. And if you don't have them within whatever your idea is, like to me, then under each of these, you would put, okay, here's the positive solutions, and here's, maybe what's happening over here. Um, and I think here, like for my services, problem solving, resource organization, tool design, knowledge capture, systems design, group facilitation, pattern recognition, field dynamics setup, leadership coaching. Websites, video production, one-on-one coaching, product design, event organization, project management. So if I look at problem solving, I was thinking as teams, you would just like tackle any problem. Ship's crew, this is just, you got a whole crew together and you solve whatever the problem is. From 20,000, half a million. Live in Nexialist, I come and live with people, 5,000 a month. And I do it where they are. Magic Cauldron, where you get 3 sessions, 3 maps from 1 to 5,000. And then a magic map mission, 200 to 1,000, a one-time problem. So looking at, you get a map to solve the problem. Five kinds of tools: sacred space tools, personal space tools, one-on-one space tools, group space tools, community space tools. Because I've got so many of them, and then I can just custom design, things for people.
Yep.
Systems design, business system design, family system design, friendship system design. So this is using those 6 fields. So I use the maps to break down, whatever it is. But it's kind of, trying to make a website that can kind of do anything out of and build a reputation.
Yep.
Yeah, so those are a couple things I've been working on. What do you think?
Well, it's astounding amount of work is the first thought that comes to mind. Like, yeah, I'm surprised at how much content there is that you've created. It's kind of the first thing that comes to mind. It's like, that is a lot of stuff in a good way. I mean,
And this is after losing all of the Readly sites. I lost about 20 Readly sites. So I'd start over again.
yeah.
The amount of work I've lost,
Oh,
but I like doing websites. I think it's the main front of a business, right? It's the organizer for everything else. And most websites, I think, are so weak. I always have the same pages, the same, like, they're so simple.
I'm trying to think. I have like this idea, but I don't know how to put it into words exactly yet. It came to me during our last meeting, like 2 hours ago or whatever. Like you have a massive amount of content there, and you have a huge kind of like, well, yeah, huge holistic solution system that has lots of pieces, lots of connecting points, lots of layers, and like lots of fractal properties, kind of thing, right? It's huge, I think, and you've told me, and I think I would expect it as well. You've had, you know, difficulty in giving people the whole picture and getting people to listen long enough or to take courses long enough to really understand it all and things like this. I think what's continuously lacking is like some sort of like um, a linear kind of curriculum that's you know, that could be created and marketed, perhaps even if you want to make money with it to start off with, because at the moment that's important. But like a linear progression of understanding your stuff, kind of one chunk at a time in a way that fits all together.
Well,
I still not seeing it.
well, that's the mission.
It's like you have like a whole systems, non-linear thing that you're trying to teach people, but I think because of the way society is and the way most people are left-brained and stuff, it needs a linear approach.
Wait, I've got it. Got it.
Okay.
Keep talking, I'll find it.
Well, the other thing that came to mind is that, this is one of the thing that you want to teach, the thing that you created, the thing that you want to impart to people, etc., is not mainstream for sure. And it also touches on and involves a lot of touchy stuff, I guess you could say, for the average person. Spirituality and stuff alone is like, still not mainstream really, as far as like people wanting to think about that and etc. I just mean, what I'm going with that is like, what if you had a linear approach for people to go through, but you did it in like initiation format where they don't know all the levels until they go through them. And a big piece of the attraction could be, mystery. That's kind of how those initiation systems work, right? Like there's some sort of allure that people have been captured by. They want in. They know that a lot of it, they have to go through it to get it. They don't really know what it is, but they know they want it. And so they'll go through the steps. Some people will fail and quit. Other people will continue to go. And the people who get to the end will have all the pieces and be fully initiated and masters of the system and everything else, right? That might be a better approach.
I think you're right.
Sorry?
I think you're right. I mean, I gotta find this thing.
Yep.
Keep talking.
Okay. Let's see. It's like, in a way, it's sort of simplifying things for you. I think maybe to approach it in that way as well, because, for example, it wouldn't take a lot of effort to create a website that is just enough to get people to start. Like, they don't see everything. And it's not even necessarily that's the website they use to take the training or anything else, but it's a website that's like a front entry, kind of like doorstop for them. Visually, it would be captivating enough to get them interested and touch upon some sort of ideas that people taking your material might be interested in from the get-go. Like, if you can identify what type of people, which I think you can, that you want to that A, you want actually to train, and B, you think that would be interested in this stuff, that becomes your target market or whatever else you wanted to say. But the point is, you can make a simple website to just put some kind of breadcrumbs on there that they would end up wanting to follow. And then as you got people start to go through the different levels, then you can add more to those breadcrumbs. you know um yeah, and to have different entry points is not a big deal either, because I mean, you spend a lot of time making those websites, I can tell, obviously. But if you had a system where you created instead multiple websites that are very quick to make, and each kind of like um they kind of like represent and offer breadcrumbs for different people, in different ways. So they look different. They don't look like they're the same website. You end up with all these breadcrumbs leading to the same place. Okay, show me this.
Okay, can you see the card? Claim your sovereignty.
Yep.
So each card has a value and a combo type. Or the thing, claim your sovereignty. Either I or whoever's the expert, somebody out there who's figured out how to do that. So that's a module, right? And then
Okay.
as you go, so know your destination. Now, this just kind of came out of me, and you can, I haven't fleshed out the details for each one. But so there's personal points, clan points, and team points assigned. Build your own ship. That's like your own business. Reschedule your time. That's like using cyclical time maps. Know what your treasure is. What do you have that you're offering to the world? Because it's essentially you're building a business, but through these missions, choose a little crew who's going to be on your team. Have a map and a compass. Be in the flow. Honor the right agreements. And you'll see that they're going in the flow wheel, right? Like each one of those is at one of the positions on the flow wheel.
Okay.
So you're filling in the map as you go, whether you know it or not. Use the right protocol. So coming up with your own. So each one, you're going to have an output that's going to be part of building your whole system within this whole idea. Be on time. Know your role. Be prepared. Know your superpowers. That's like connection into the gene keys. And there you see connection to the gene keys. So each mission, you come up with unlimited missions, but you're tying them into all these different knowledge fields and partners and allies. And so the allies would have a card set where they're just one card but they, you're an ally because you're helping them. Synergize your team. Here's Zoom. So then this is like looking at different parts of the infotech system, right? So I think we all need to use the same infotech. So if we're all using Zoom as the video conferencing, and we do a deal with Zoom, we do a deal with all the infotech companies because we're showing them how to build a whole system in the inflow matrix. Identify path blocks. That could be some healing stuff. Identify your winning strategy. Follow the right direction. And again, these are all connected into the flow. So here's access your highest potential. And then we do an agreement with Tony Robbins where he's the master of he's the master of that particular convo type. He's the master of motivation. He's the master of passion. So that passion and motivation describe Tony Robbins, right? So
Yep.
we bring in Tony for a course, maybe a little module in his stuff. Build your online infrastructure. That's Weebly, maybe Wix, or I mean, that's just basically do a deal with whoever's the website builder. So we're doing deals with every infotech company that's a provider for what we're doing, and then we're offering thousands or hundreds of thousands of people to go into their particular platform. Build an online course. That's Mighty Networks. And again, that's the convo type's instruction. So each convo type can link to, Mighty Network or Tiny Networks. I think it's Mighty Networks. Mighty Networks has an online course platform. So simplicity instructional, the convo type links directly to it. And sequencing the right actions, automate your product line, that's Zapier, synergize your network, HubSpot, be a master of service. Anyway, I think you're getting the idea, right?
Yeah.
So this is design a conscious value system. Research 9/11. Now I'm coming into the political side. Make a viral video. And each one of these gives you personal points, plan points, and team points to the game aspect. And the thing is, like, if you look at ChatStream, right, we could have all these missions and you could press a button and you could either choose a mission or you just start at one and then you go from one mission to the next, right? So we could have people in teams going through these missions. And it doesn't necessarily have to be these missions. It could be anything. You could come up with permaculture missions. You could come up with 20 permaculture missions and design it yourself. The whole idea is that the mission is more of like, again, in ChatStream, there's a goal, there's a timer, there's a value in a convo type. Like it just fits into what we built. Right? So then we have this massive amount of missions. If you want to build a certain type of business, you're going to need these types of things. And then people get used to organizing or learning or teaching by mission. So we're basically creating an infrastructure to do so. And that's, I guess have I ever said this to you? Like, I think I have.
Maybe not.
So like you could create 7x5 or 7x7 missions, like path of suffering in the personal space. So that's a mission. So if, like for me, like I'm in the path of suffering personal space, I'm fucked. I'm at rock bottom. Okay, what do you do? Okay, here's the rock bottom mission. And there's some sort of fun mission where you get a coach, you get a support team, you get healing, and all of a sudden, you're out of rock bottom. And now you're playing a game. I mean, the whole game is about bringing your gifts into the world, like finding a way to work with other people, finding a way to structure a living for yourself. If we can't figure out how to help people make a living, that's the point.
Hmm. Well, yeah, really, so when you first started showing me the cards there with the three types of points and just the way it looked and stuff, it reminded me of like Catan or something like that, where if it reminded me of the idea of gamification, and if we provided some sort of game where people could play, and sometimes they have to draw a card as part of the game, and then they got to do that mission.
Hmm.
That could be an
Mm-hmm.
easy way to kind of set up a system of people doing things that end up progressing them and the whole organization closer to goals it wants, right, to
Hmm.
achieve. Anyway, just yeah, made me think of that. Like, I think more and more about that kind of thing lately. It's like,
Well, did you like
I mean,
Boy Scouts? Did you have Boy Scouts growing up?
yep,
So, like my brother, he had this arm filled with little badges from the things he
yeah,
loves. So and kids love that shit, and I think people love it. And so every mission, you get a card or you get like something that goes on your website. It's something that acknowledges that you've done it. Like
yeah,
humans, they learn playing games. They love playing games. Everyone right now is online playing a game. But most of these games are violent, and most of these games are all the same, as you know, as a game designer.
yeah,
So, I mean, I don't know, I like integrating with your game. Like, let's say you go to this planet, and then on this planet, there's 3 or 4 different missions. And so then you're able to access different missions on different planets. So, I mean, that'd be kind of fun too. Because your stuff is all press the button and it happens. But what happens if, okay, we got to build a water plant, and now you have to learn how to build a water plant, and you have to go through some process of being a bit of an engineer, and then you can build a water plant, right? Rather than just press a button kind of thing.
yeah. Like, and the idea that I still like the idea. I think I told you about where it's like you like the people that join end up playing a game, but the game affects the real world because the missions of the game are like do something useful, and they get the points, through basically doing things. In other words, they gain reputation and approval, whatever you want to call it, from the other people of the group. Sometimes automatically, sometimes based on some sort of rating system, perhaps they rate each other,
Hmm.
and you end up with like this growing group of people that for one, they have to kind of agree on some sort of base cause or some sort of thing to unite around, right? But essentially, there you got this group of people who are all working towards similar or congruent goals. I think that's important somehow. I think that if yeah, I guess my thought is we could trick a lot of people into changing the world through gamification
Hmm.
in a weird way, and then maybe that's a good idea. Kind of what I'm trying to say.
Well, I just
Because like, yeah,
well, just I'm pretty sure that if me and you had let's say a team each,
hmm,
right? I don't know. I mean, if we just had, look at the resources these fuckers have. They got massive amounts of resources, and they come up with bullshit. Like both, we both have done something incredible on our own with nothing. And I think that's where true innovation comes from. That's where true, you know, it's so different if I can say, okay, here's 5 grand, go build me whatever, right? I don't have to do
hmm,
anything, and some person just does something, and they're not, they didn't spend 20 years thinking about it, right? Like when I looked at that deckable, the thing I sent you, and I look at
yeah,
a site, and it needs so much work. There's so much he could do that would be better, but he's a lone guy with probably one developer, right? So he's, people are limited by their resource limits. But just seeing what he's done and seeing what I would imagine, like I liked our thing better. He didn't even have a question prompt. He didn't even start with a question, So, I just think that we have a very high value. We may not, for you to create a game by yourself that it was one of the best games I've played, better than all these other things I've tried. And you did that by yourself. Like, and it boggles my mind, really. Because I remember I didn't know you were doing it. I don't know if I knew you when you were doing it. Did I know you when you were doing it?
Yeah, of
Because
course.
we'd lost touch with one another for quite a while.
Well, I mean, I was doing it mainly when I was in New Zealand, really. So yeah, we knew each other before that for sure.
Right. So here you are making this incredible thing. I don't know anything about you. You didn't tell me, and all of a sudden you go, "Oh, I got this game." And then I remember the first time, and the first time I tried it, and I didn't get it at all. And I was disappointed. I thought, yeah, it's just like everybody else, just trying to make something. And then when you did the upgrade and then explained it to me, and then I started playing it, and all of a sudden I was like, oh, oh. And then as soon as that happened, then I missed the first one. Those guys were all big and huge, and I was just some little shit in there. And then
I never
I had
myself.
then I had to start I think a third game. And then I wasn't equal, but at least I wasn't like I had a chance. I mean, we were playing on the same side, right? We had a bit of a chance against freaking Lord Vader. And there was some, I just remember this one battle where, fuck, I mean, I thought I lost, but I actually won and wiped his whole thing out. And he sent sent some fleet, and all of a sudden, you're like, to win a real battle when you're used to getting killed, or you're used to, like, it's just all of a sudden press a button, battle, you're the victor. He lost 89 battleships and you didn't. you know
Yeah.
so for the next 3 months you got an advantage because you've got this massive fleet and he's got to rebuild, which of course he fucking did and wiped the shit out of us.
It's true, right?
But just the whole thing about going to war, and do you help an ally that's getting pounded and you get pounded too, or you just let him die and build up your resources so you don't get pounded? Like, it's a huge ethical question. I remember Mark pounded from the get-go, and he was always asking for help, and I knew I'd get freaking destroyed. And it was only until the very end, Mark, holy crap, was that guy persistent.
Yeah.
It's so different from the other games I played where there's 5,000 people playing, and what guy's got a ship that won't have a chance against, and they're it's no fun. So to have such a small game and a limited arena, I just remember my whole day was based on that game. Everything was about the build. Everything was about it was always playing in the background. And what's good is you can do normal work, then you just check and you see. And if you don't
Yeah, I
check and
like
see
that.
it, a fleet might get you. I mean, the guy who comes at night, sends his fleet at frickin' 11, 4 in the morning, he's at your doorstep. I remember one time waking up at 2 and he'd sent some fleet. And, I just woke up at night, checking, came up with some better defense, but what a bastard.
Well, yeah. Yeah, that guy was good too. Yeah, I think I always think like one of my biggest advantages of how to make a kind of a unique-ish game that's fun and that's it's just a fun game to play. There's nothing else attached to it. Is the fact that I had no money. I built it with no money and no budget and no salary, and never even actually thought about how to make money off it in the first place.
Mm.
I think that's the key to success there. You know, not to say that it couldn't do that, it couldn't make money, but that's just obviously games now because they're so big, so much money involved in them, and there's like huge teams of people owned by multi-million-dollar companies, most of them, right? Of course, there's a huge amount of steps they got to go through before they make a game, and most of it has to do with, okay, is this going to make any money? You know, is how are we going to market it? What's our monetary incentive? Blah 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 blah. How's all this stuff fit together? Okay, now what should the game be? And that's like kind of the last question in a lot of ways. Like, okay, how can we fit all this monetization and marketing and kind of like strategy stuff that we're in right now into a game to make money in 2023 until 2025, and then we need another game because that one's going to be outdated.
Mm. And what's ridiculous is most of them have, you know, if you put money in, you're going to be better, which just kills the game.
Yeah,
Right?
there's a big thing. Yeah, the pay to win thing.
Mm.
Yeah,
Right.
yeah, there's a lot of that. And then the other ones where, you know, I mean, they're all like that, I guess now. You can always buy stuff, and not all of them make it easier for you to win, but most of them do, yeah, really. And they just slowly do it, you know, like slowly add a little bit so that it doesn't disrupt the game from all the people who joined for free because it was a good free game. They add a little bit of something you can buy, a little bit more, a little bit more. No, it's okay. We got a few thousand people paying us this much money. We could probably get a few hundred paying us even more, and they grow those numbers, you know. And eventually, it's a pay to win game, and yeah, that's how it seems to go.
Mm.
All right, I got to show you something now, real quick here.
Oh, good.
Just let me share my screen and let me see if I can just do this. Yeah, there we go. Okay. Now, just off the top of my head, I ran with what I was talking about and made a diagram of perhaps what it could look like. Didn't fill it all in yet. I don't know if you can read that from here.
Oh, yeah.
So this would be the idea of like some sort of initiation system or some sort of step-by-step system where they wouldn't know what they're doing until they get closer and closer, and eventually they do their final tests and they can become a facilitator if they like that. They want to move on, they can become a teacher. If they want to move on again, they can become a leader, and you know, if they're a decent leader, they can help create stuff. And then those two like kind of things to the side, I don't know what to put there, but I can vision that they should be there.
Love it. It's a great diagram. How long did it take you to do?
23 minutes.
Hmm. Hmm. You know, what's interesting is I always used to say, if I don't get it the first 16 times, I'll get it the 17th time. And it was like the 16, but I mean, you got 15, but it could be 16, is kind of taking into account all the angles or I think 16, you know, it's four fours, right? So it's a whole by itself. And 17 is a prime number as a sort of like a whole of all the 16. And it's weird because a lot of times I've had these sort of jokes or thoughts, and they sort of make logical sense at some point. Not that I'm just stupid and can't learn things on the first time, which might be true. But I like to look at it.
Yeah, this is what it would look like for us. Um, More like you specifically. And for the people joining, you know, it look more like this
Hmm.
as an experience. I mean, they're joining at the bottom, they're working their way through the levels, learning the stuff. They do a test after a few levels. if they want to continue, they keep going through more levels, eventually do another test, and then they kind of get, but if they pass that, they can do the last few levels, and they do a final test, which kind of proves they know they've understood enough of it or all of it, and then they can, become a facilitator, teacher, leader, and help create more content, whatever you want to say.
Well, I guess, yeah, like what I would see is the different trainers, like the people from the School of Conscious Communication, the teachers would be at different parts of that. And each one teaching their specialty. And that, if we're running thousands of people through here, then, we've got, the idea of the whole school is just to get work for everybody, right? And the idea of the curriculum is to create a structure to put teachers on teams so that their gifts come together to work well together, right? So this creates a really nice format to, because I mean, the thing is that the curriculum I have on there, yeah, that's just one curriculum. It's more again for healing for males. But we could have unlimited amounts of programs, unlimited amounts of curriculums. And again, what's good about this one is it's very it's a level above what I've done in terms of like mine. If I do a 7x5 grid or 7x7 grid, then you put the language at the next level. Now it's specific. So same thing for this. This is at a specific level where you can put anything in here, which is, I think, fundamentally the best place to start.
Yeah, I like, let's see here. I'm gonna change it. Oh, my not. Oh, I see what's happened. No. Oh, yeah. If I'd show you, like, just show you how I did that.
What I love the fact that you got the idea, you thought it, and you did it.
Well,
What program's that?
so this is just draw.io. You just go draw.io, it's all for free. And it's for making flow charts and stuff too. So you can do a lot, like, here's an arrow, for example. But yeah, you can do, all sorts of stuff. Just put one of these in and it aligns stuff for you and things. And there's all sorts of like different ones you can do. You can do something like this, a vertical tree layout, and it's all kind of set up for you and all sorts of stuff. I like it. You can even do like it's set up to do like wiring diagrams and stuff too. So like for electrical wiring or something, or flow chart specific stuff. And anyway, I just use it because it's fast and easy and free. That you can just download it as a PNG or whatever you want. Yeah.
Why does it say app.diagrams.net?
Yeah, I don't know. I go to draw.io and it takes me here. So I guess you could just type that. Maybe it used to be called draw.io. I don't know. Yeah, it's a pretty good, decent little program or website, I guess. And you can actually download the program to your computer and use it on your computer too without having to be connected to the internet or anything, which is cool. Yeah, so anyway, the other part of the idea is like to take this join piece right here, make green or whatever you want, but and make a website for that, just the join. And that would be the idea. And so there's a really simple website where it's like, here, I'll show you some other, if you can see that. Oh, no, I have to share that. So can I just share my actual screen? Okay, that works. Oh, yeah. Yeah, so you see this here. Or this. Or whatever. I don't know. I'm just saying, like, all these are just AI pictures, right? I have you know, the stable diffusion. I don't know if you used this one yet. It's the one I sent you, like planetary guardians organization logo. But anyway, we can whip up a website fairly easy and make it look mysterious and interesting enough, and then have some sort of join button on it. And after that, they just, you know, it's not, I don't propose that we make an entire website that has all the training built into it like this. Instead, we literally just make a join website. And then from that, perhaps they could just start with they can email with some information and some charts, or they book a one-on-one session with you, or whatever. Maybe they got to pay $88 and then they book that first session or whatever amount. And, you know, eventually that becomes these facilitators down here that they're booking with, you know, and so on. And yeah, and we create some sort of basic just onboarding system website thing.
Okay, I like that. What's the stable diffusion site URL?
Oh, just clipdrop.co. You find it there. Yeah, and I happen to pay for it, so if you want to like do some cool art, you could do some. Yeah, like esoteric mystery school website homepage on a tablet, and I could switch that to photographic and perhaps widescreen. You can see what it comes up with here. And the one that's free, you have to wait a little bit longer, but you know, here it's not even just a picture. I asked for it, you know, on a tablet. And the one thing that AI cannot do properly still is words for some weird reason. Doesn't matter, even if you tell it to literally write this, it will write it badly. And most of the time it'll just be messed up information. It's really weird.
I know.
But anyway, yeah, there's that. And then I don't know, can you see my Discord right now?
Yeah.
Yeah, so I also have Midjourney, which is the other big one, a mystery school homepage, website homepage. You know, and anyway, I'm just saying, yeah, utilize these tools while we got them. You know, we could. I have this as well. You know, after you told me about it, I checked it out. It's, yeah, very interesting. So I've been using this to do some stuff as well. Yeah, blah blah blah. I'm paying for this one too at the moment. Oh, okay. Apparently this is not my paid account. I have it somewhere else. Anyway, it doesn't matter. This 3.5 is pretty good. You know, I'm not saying that we do what it says, but you could use this thing for all sorts of crap. Here's a step-by-step guide on how to design such a system, you know. Anyway, you pair that with like there's the Midjourney came out with some wacky looking stuff. But anyway, yeah. I'm just saying,
Well, I like it.
yeah, we could do something like that, end up with creating, you know, the onboarding system for something like this. And you would have to figure out, okay, what is the absolute necessity is the first thing they learn that can be kind of compartmentalized into one teaching. And that would be level one. And then you continue on. Okay, if they only know this about my entire system, what would be the next most important thing that they would have to learn? You know, and so on. You try to break it down into say 4 or 5 things, and then we could craft some kind of test people could do so they can't just, you know, cheat their way through the whole thing or just click next, and never actually read anything. They would have to be able to prove it somehow, and then so on, and then we'd go back and say, okay, well, maybe they would have to pay money to get to level 1. Maybe they would only have to pay money to go through this continue thing, or so on, right? And then as people finally, the first sets of people start making it through the final test, and they can, they're offered a chance to be a facilitator, and then they collect the money for this and blah blah blah.
Mhm.
Yeah, could be like that.
Oh, I agree.
Yeah, I asked Stable Diffusion, write me, draw me a picture of who controls the world, and what controls society. That's what, or no, that which controls society. They actually wrote it kind of haphazardly at the top. It's an interesting picture. That's what the AI believes. Here's another picture of it. Interesting stuff. Here's another one. Or what controls the world? I asked, and that gave me this. Interesting.
I like that one.
It's kind of cool, right?
You could have the bank.
This that which runs the world or owns the world or something. It gave me this one. Yep, and this one. Who runs the world? Who controls the world? Yep, that one too. It's a really interesting looking picture. Then, oh yeah, then the kids got on and did some fantasy art stuff. What else did I put on here? Yeah, that one as well. It was like, how does the world work or something like that. That which controls humanity gave me this picture with, like, I don't know, a Spider-Man or a Deadpool or something in the middle, and
Daredevil.
just everything smashed up. That one. And this one as well. I think this was world peace. And these were some sort of esoteric things I asked for.
I like that one. I love that one.
This one, yeah, it's pretty cool,
Did
right?
you send me that one?
Yeah. Um, yeah, I mean, it's interesting, like, esoteric picture. I'll send you that one right now. What about you?
That program you just gave me. I think you sent me
Oh,
a
and
long
here's
time ago.
here's a Tyrannosaurus Rex eating pizza. Darth Vader eating a cheeseburger. It's supposed to be, although it does not look like a cheeseburger. Yep. And then there's this other website that takes. Okay, so this one I haven't had tons of success yet with, but I'll show you it real quickly. If I can find the original.
Takes an image and makes a video.
Yeah, yeah. And so far it's been very failure, but this one looks interesting.
I like that.
At the very start, that's the still image I gave it, which I made with AI, and then it turned into a video. It's like that. Well, it's real out. But some of them are really weird the way that turns out. Like this one was another one that we turned into a video, and it actually like morphed everything. It's a very interesting one. And this one as well. I wanted some orcs. I said turned into a video. Yeah, didn't do the best job. There's the original. And anyway, yeah, I've been using it to draw pictures for a game that I want to make just for fun. Well, that's what it gave. Esoteric picture. Okay, I did not understand what I meant. An esoteric picture. But it's funny, like the flower of life. If I give it the flower of life, and I want it to be like, a photograph style, so it should be realistic, right? It has trouble doing stuff like this, it seems. Basic geometry. It either is just too creative or something, because it's similar, right? It looks almost right, but it's just not right. It's
Mm-hmm.
kind of like wonky and also too stylized. It's not correct.
Mm-hmm.
And I tried it with Journey. I've tried it with this. It never quite gets it right. Like that's close, but it's not correct. And yet, you know, like it's funny though, like a perfect triangle. And I know it knows how to make a perfect triangle. Sometimes it will. Sometimes it won't. And there's some sort of random creativity to this AI stuff. Like, okay, there you go. Some triangles. Not bad. Yeah. You know, life and death. You can get, I just sometimes I play with this and just see what it makes, because you give it some interesting prompts and it's just like, oh, here you go. Ah, there you go. What the hell is that? Just gave me a bunch of cameras again. Very strange. Yeah, the stable diffusion is pretty good. It does a bunch of other stuff. Mainly, I just use it for making a picture, which is the stable diffusion thing. But then it also does uncropping, reimagining, removing backgrounds, cleanup. It does some useful tools. Uh, yeah. So anyway, I guess I gotta go pick up the kids in 10 minutes here.
Hmm. Okay.
I'll leave you with some fancy pictures here.
Oh, nice.
I sent you some of these.
Oh, nice.
These here are all by one artist who I really like a lot.
Hmm.
Imagine a brotherhood of men living life in peace.
Hmm.
That's what this one's called. It's a very Scorpio picture. Yeah, anyway, I just like these because they're so detailed and colorful and usually quite positive, interesting stuff. Uh,
What was the name of that site for the drawing again?
I will send you the link. It's called Stable Diffusion.
Not that
I'll
one.
just send you.
The one with the diagram.
Oh, yeah. I just sent you both those links. For some reason, might be. There we go.
Okay. We'll see you later, my friend. Good call.
Art.
Okay. Love you, brother.